this was kind of the first day of really tearing into the motor a little bit, looking at the carb, seeing if we had spark, making sure that the ignition on this was still good and the coils were good. And I would have been totally lost without Tom, as usual, because the wiring coming out of the motor was different than what was in the manual. So just by process of deduction, Tom figured it out.
You never know what you're going to find. So I expect to be confused often. And it's a process of figuring out the fastest way of diagnosing problems. And we did that through a lot of preliminary small tests, electrical tests, finally figured it out, and everything was fine once we figured it out.
Just from his experience with Bultacos and vintage bikes, you know, some really rare stuff and then some stuff that's not so rare, you know, he's got a great mind for this stuff and a lot of history and experience.
And I am used to seeing a lot of these problems. If nothing else, 60-year-old motorcycles, a lot of them have the same issues. Besides dirt and corrosion, just age. It rots rubber and it makes things not work. So we were lucky on this one. I feel good for Steven because he's got a good sound basis for a rocket ship now.
And we got it to pop first kick.
We did.
Got a little fuel in there. It's going to be great.
It's going to run.
Again, thanks, Tom.
You're
as
most
always,
welcome.
thank you so much. Tom's amazing. So,
You're
well, we're going to keep moving on this. This was the first stage. Make sure we even had something to move forward with, and I think we're there. So we'll move on to the next thing here pretty soon, and we'll keep showing you what happens in this Biltwell 100 build.
So basically what I'm going to do is put this in. Again, I had to find the right fitment for it, which is a little tricky, so I'm going to have to kind of custom make. This is a Mikuni 43 carb, round slide also, which makes it easy to fit on. The only bummer is that I do like about the Banks is that if you need to get the bowl out and, you know, play with your needle or something like that, you can just hit this little lever and this thing just pops out, right? Like such, and then you can get to your bowl, which is really cool. It's a great feature. You know, I wish it was that easy now. So picked up some brand new fuel line and a brand new fuel filter. I run fuel filters on all my bikes. I like this big one here for this guy just so I can see exactly what's going on. Brand new fuel line too, and brand new clamp. Went with this brand new Uni air filter, lubed this guy up really nice. These are kind of good because you can kind of smash these. These are easy to find parts for. You can find these all the time. These are like 20 bucks. So this one fit really snug on my carb, which I like. So I'm gonna put this one over here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my carb back together. I ran basically my throttle line and cable. It's kind of sitting here, just kind of put it all together beforehand. One of the things that I wanna try and do is when I butt this up and put this together, I want this to sit as closely to that intake as possible. I wanna get a nice fit too, so when this is butted up against it, you don't want this thing rattling loose, because again, it's going to be doing hopefully a lot of heavy, you know, trails and bumps and things like that, and this thing is going to be shaking, and I don't want this thing to shake loose. So again, when I made this boot, try to get as close to that as possible. So just snug everything up. Make sure my needle is in the right position. Basically just going to drop this in. Don't force it. You want to make sure the needle's going in. So I'm just going to kind of roughly run my fuel line from the bottom up. Put my clamp on. My fuel filter facing the right direction. I'm going to drop it, hopefully not crack it. Just kind of clamp this guy on here so it's not moving or getting loose. And then what I can do later is run this guy up through here, like one more time, and then one more time to the tank. Okay, so that's gonna be it for about the first week. I gotta wait for this new petcock to come in. After this is my least favorite thing of all time, electrical. I freaking hate electrical. But I think I figured out a pretty good system. The old Motoplat isn't working well. I'm gonna go to a brand new electrical system. I tested out a few different things like coils, spark plugs, so on and so forth. And I'm going to run a brand new electrical system for this entire bike, and hopefully this thing is sparking every single time. But on the positive note, there's only 2 wires I really have to work with. So I can't really mess this one up too bad. All right, guys, thank you for following Rig. We'll see you on the next build.